Hi, I'm Tereza from PotomacBeads. Today we'll work together on my Shieldmaiden earrings with QuadBows beads, check cabochons, Miyuki seed beads and a little bling with Potomac Crystal Bicones. So let's get at the beads and start working. So today we'll make my Shieldmaiden earrings, which I named after the Viking shields because this shape of the earring reminds me of those. So let's do it. So we will need the check cabochon in 10mm size, 11/0 delica seed beads and 15/0 regular seed beads. I'm using Miyuki. And we will also need QuadBows beads, which have 4 holes, and Potomac Crystal Bicones in 4mm size, and then an ear wire of your choice. I went for the plain one. With the second color choice I used the long one, the medium actually, and it looks also very nice. We will be working with dragon thread and size 11 needle, and it's quite a simple ornament. I also prepared a bracelet for you, which is coming up, so you can look forward to it. So learn this one and then you're set for the upcoming video as well. We will start with circular peyote and we will bezel the chaton with it, and after that we'll add very simply the QuadBows and the rest of the beads. So I have a wingspan long piece of thread which will should be enough even for both earrings, and we will start with the delicas and the peyote. So let's do this. We'll start with 4 delicas. So I have 4 delicas on my needle. Slide them towards the end and leave a tail like 10 centimeters, and go through all the delicas from the other way to create a circle. So like this. And finally also through the first one. And that should create a nice loop for you, which actually looks like a little flower made of 4 beads. So now we are adding a second row, which is 1 bead sitting in between 2 beads. So like regular peyote. So number 1, then pick second delica, go into the next bead, number 3, into the next bead, and finally number 4, into the last bead in the first row. And then you need to also step up, so you can go at once through the bead in the corner. So that's first 2 rows. Now we are coming up to number 3, and we will have to add more beads. So instead of just 1 bead that would go into each gap, we'll be putting 2 at once. So this is row number 3, and we are picking 2 delicas at once and going into the beads in the corners. So now I picked 2, again picking 2 more and going into the next corner, picking up 2 more, going into the next corner, and finally the last 2 and go into the next corner. So that's first, and then you need to step up, but you will be stepping up only through the first bead out of the pair, so only through this one. And now the needle is coming out in between the 2 beads, and we'll be inserting 1 delica in between these pair beads. Excuse me. So I picked 1 delica and I'm going into the next delica from the pair. So this is row number 4. So you'll be adding 1 delica in between the pair and then 1 delica also into the gaps between the pairs. So you'll be adding 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 delicas in total, but one by one. So let me do it. So another between the pair beads, another into the gap, in between the pair, into the next gap, sorry. So this was bead number 7, and finally this is the last bead, the number 8. And this first one out of the pair is the last bead of the previous row. And then you need to step up through the one that is sticking out, which was the first bead we added in this row number 4. So now we are coming into the row number 5. And this is very easy. You will be picking up again only 1 delica and doing only 1 into each gap. So like this, pick only 1 and continue into the next delica that is sticking out. So this 5th row, if I just remember 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yes, this 5th row, it is our base for the 6th, of course, and in the 6th we'll be adding again 2 beads, but in only specific places. So I will show you again. And now finish this row. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 more beads, of course, so you need 8 in total for this row. So continue and don't forget to step up into this bead, which is the first one added in the 5th row, and I'll catch you up and show you how to add more beads again. So I finished the 5th row and I'm going to show you how to step up. So this was my last bead, this is the first one. So let's get through this one as well, and we're ready for the row number 6. So when I'm holding it like this, you can see there's like a little cross shape following the basic flower made out of the 4 starting delicas. Above this cross shape, there is the first pair, second, 3rd and 4th, which are the pairs which we added in the row number 3. Which added also, because we started with 4 beads, then thanks to this we now have 8, and we need to have even more. So you will be adding 2 delicas in the spot above the same, in the same spot basically, above the basic flower. So there's the starting bead, the first pair, and now here in these large gaps there will be pairs, and in between, here, 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 and here, there will be single delicas. So, which means that now we are exiting out of this bead, we need to add first the single delica. And the single delica is sitting on top of the diagonal line. So that's why. And now here, when you arrange the beads properly, you can see the large gap. So pick 2 delicas. Or if you don't want to follow the cross, just start by adding 1 delica and then in the second gap add 2. But I just wanted to explain how you are supposed to look for the places where you add more beads. Into the next gap we are adding only 1 delica again. Into the gap number 4, pick a pair. So another normal gap, so single delica, another gap which is above the starting flower bead, a pair, and second to last bead, so this is the single delica, And finally, I'll show you like this. Finally, the last big gap. And into this bead. And then into the first single delica we added. So this might be a little confusing. Check out the circle peyote stitch video from Ellie. It came out just recently, so just go a few days back on our YouTube channel, on our site, and you can learn more if you are just confused by this. So you can just check it first and then go back here. It's completely the same, just made with delicas. So this was row number 6, and we are switching to row number 7, and we are adding only single delicas from this point. So no more adding of pairs. So pick up one, go into the next bead, and now again pick up one, and here we have the pair. So add delica in between the pair beads. So like this. And continue by adding one single delica into each gap. So I'm adding the 12th bead, the last one, and I'm showing you also the stepping up. And so like this. So we added 12 single delicas. This was the first bead we added, so we stepped through it up into the next row. The next row is number 8. And now we need to put on top the cabochon. So try to hold it in the middle, and now you can really try to keep up the tension, because when I was going flat I was kind of beading a bit more loose than I would normally, but now when we have the cabochon on top you can start pulling a bit more, so it's closing around. And now you want to build up the walls. So build up the walls like this, and the last row will be 50 rows, which will close our bezel. So let's do this. Now we'll be adding always 12 single delicas into those beads that are sticking out. So at row number 8, one by one, and after that step up and add another row. So this is row number 8, then there will be row number 9 and row number 10, which will be the last row with delicas. So add 3 more rows, and then we'll be adding rows with 15 rows, a row with 15 rows, and after that the bezel is done, and we can move on adding the embellishments. So continue adding, this was number 8, so 9 and 10 as well, and I will catch you up later with the 50 rows. I finished the row number 10, so you can see here is the second point where we added 2 beads at once. Above it there's a 1 bead, then 2 aside, above there another one, and then 2 aside. You can go by visual like this or just counting the rows. Now add a row made of 15 rows. So 12 15 rows into each gap. Pull. If you have issues with the tension and the bezel is skipping out, after adding the 15 rows, go again through the 15 rows and the delica in between, just with your thread. Don't add any beads, which will pull the bezel together. Also try to center the cross on the back, so it's nicely in the middle. And after that we will add small amount of delicas, 1 2 3 4, so we can attach the QuadBows to them, and the delicas will be in specific places, which I will show you. So finish this row and then last 4 delicas. So after strengthening the top row, we need to get down into the bezel, back into the beadwork, into the 7th row. So when I hold it like this, here is the 6th row, the place where we added 2 beads at once. On top of them there's 7th row. This is the bead sitting in between the pair beads, and you need to get into the next bead. So I'll show you. So I will add delica in between these 2 beads in the 7th row. So this one is the one sitting on top of the pair. There's the next one, which was in the gap, another one which was also in a single gap, and then there's another one which is again on top of the pair. So insert a bead in the spot which is sitting on the diagonal line as well. So you can just check it like this. So we have cross here, here, and here is the diagonal line. And in the 7th row on the diagonal line you will sit a delica. So like this. And then you continue through the beadwork to another spot like this. So here and then here. Again, another diagonal line in the same row. I'm picking up 1 delica, going into the next bead in the 7th row. And then I'm continuing through the beads. Here's another diagonal line. Another delica. And the last one. Checking again, sitting at the spot across from the first one, the second one. So like this. And now again go through the beadwork to the next delica, so the first one. And step up through it. So like this. And we are ready to add the quad bows. So pick a quad bow and go from the bottom towards the top through the first hole. And arrange it that it goes in the direction of your beadwork. And now go down through the second hole. And when you sit it in between the beads, between the 2 delicas, you will see the spot in the 6th row where we added 2 beads at once. So go through it, through both of the beads, pull, and go up through the 3rd hole, pull, and finally down through the 4th hole. Now you go into the delica. Like this. And now we will add the quad bow plus the bicone as well. So pick another quad bow again in the same way. So in the first hole from the bottom up. Now pick 2 15-ohs, 1 4mm bicone and 2 more 15-ohs. So this, and go back into the first quad bow through the 4th hole from top to bottom. so like a little right angle weave stitch, then back into the delica, which is in the bezel, and back up through the first hole of the second quad bow. And now we attach the quad bow like we did before. So down through the second hole. Find the pair of delicas which were added at once in the bezel in the 6th row. Then up through hole number 3. Also, don't forget to check the holes before you start. So you need only 4 beads, so I recommend checking all of them before you do the beadwork. And then down through number 4. Then back to delica. And now repeat what we did with the bicone and the quad bow number 2 while adding the quad bow number 3. And the bicone number 2, and I'll catch you up here where we will add the last bicone and close the circle, the quad bow circle together. So let's add together the bicone number 4. So I'm going down through the last hole of the last quad bow, then go into the delica, into the bezel, and like we did before, up into the first hole of the first quad bow, then pick the 2 50-0s, a bicone, 2 more 50-0s, and up, so into the delica and up again through the first hole of the first quad bow. And now we need to connect the bicones, so go into the lastly added 50-0s with the bicone. And now pick 10 50-0s, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, yes, 9, 10. So I'm picking 10 here. When I was doing my second colorway, I needed to add 11 because of the different finishes. Despite the Miyuki seed beads being super regular, some of them might be slightly bigger or slightly smaller, so don't be afraid to adjust your number of seed beads so they are sitting nicely on the top of the quad bow like this. So I went into the pair of seed beads and bicone on the other side and am exiting out of the second pair of seed beads. Also, if you pull too much and the quad bows start doing this, don't do it. Just put it on your beading board and pull enough so everything is nice and tight but not crumpling and turning into the back side. So when I hold it like this, I know it's small, but it's flat. It's not turning into a ball. So now pick 10 more or 11 more, depending on your color choice, of 50-0s and go into the next bicone and continue also here and here, finishing in the bicone. So let's do it. So 30 more seed beads. So now we have the full ornament ready, and you're making a bracelet. You will need to stop at this point, and then in the bracelet video you can follow and connect the ornaments together. Now we'll be adding the ear wire. So pick 3 50-0s, 1 delica, and 3 more 50-0s. 1, 2, 3. So I'm exiting only from the bicone. And now go through the bicone from the other side. Now go back up through the first 3 50-0s. And back down only through the 3 50-0s on the other side. Skip the delica. Now pull and adjust the delica position so it's nicely sitting on top of the little picot like this, so you have a nice shape angle. Nice angle, nice straight angle. So you have it like this, and now go back up again through the 350 nose and the delica as well, and pull, and now add 250 nose, your ear wire, 2 more 50 nose, 1, 2, and go through the delica from the other side to create a loop. And my ear wire just fell out, which can happen. So you can edit immediately or then grab pliers and fix it. But my point is that you need to have the loop small and tight enough that later it won't touch the ear wire, or you can use a wire guard. I'm a fan of bead loops, so beaded loops. So I'm trying to pull the loop enough that the ear wire is not touching the thread and it's sitting on top of the beads, or in between the beads. So like this, you can circle at least 2 times, you can go 3 times, and then back down into the other 350 nose on the side of the bicone and into the bicone. So after this, if you feel like it's still a bit loose, you can circle around through the bicones and the seed beads. If not, find a spot, knot of the thread, and cut it somewhere a bit further from the knot. I guess I will just go around once more, because when I'm doing the video I'm trying not to hide too much of the beadwork from you, so my tension is a bit loose, more than usual. So let's go around once more, and after knotting off, the earrings are finished. Just when you're going around like this, don't forget, don't pull too much so the beadwork doesn't crumple and create a ball instead of flat shield. So wonderful. So now I will find a spot somewhere, I guess a bit further, so somewhere closer to the bicone where there's more thread. So final check on the tension, all is lying flat. And now, so I'm creating a loop and I will try to position it in between the beads. You can also follow down into the Peyote bezel, which is much simpler to hide the thread then. And yes, that's it. Went through the loop 2 times, and now I will just go away, cut my thread. Yes. Good. Because the thread will loosen up a bit more, so this is fine. This is the first one, and this is the second one. So cutting off the thread, hiding the tail, and after that the earrings are finished. Thank you very much for watching the Shieldmaiden Earrings video tutorial. I hope you had fun and enjoyed making this little ornament, a great base for earrings, pendant, or later also for bracelet. If you need any of the materials, you can go into the description below the video where you can find the links to purchase the beads you need to make these earrings. Also, you can post into comments your questions, and when you have your finished pictures, we'll be looking forward to seeing them in our beading and jewelry making group on Facebook. So thank you very much and see you in the next one.